Bullies mocked the newly transferred black student, unaware he was a lethal fighter. This story will make your blood boil, and then have you standing up to cheer. When Marcus stepped through the grand gates of Harrington University with his full scholarship, he believed his toughest challenge would be the advanced calculus classes. However, the privileged fraternity boys at Harrington took one look at his skin color and immediately decided to make his life a nightmare. But here's the twist. Long before Marcus became a straight-A student, he had spent years training in some of the toughest martial arts schools in Detroit. When you corner someone skilled in combat, bullies are bound to learn a hard lesson about karma. Let's rewind to Marcus's first day at Harrington. Picture a sea of designer backpacks and wealthy students, and there he stands, dressed in the second-hand blazer his mom meticulously ironed the night before. Walking toward his advanced physics class, Marcus overheard someone whisper mockingly, "Must have taken a wrong turn. Community college is downtown." That someone was Blake Harrison, whose smirk alone likely cost more than Marcus's entire wardrobe. Marcus ignored the taunt, head held high. Growing up in Detroit taught him a vital lesson. Sometimes the smartest strategy is letting your enemies underestimate you. In Marcus's backpack were acceptance letters from multiple Ivy League schools and martial arts medals that would erase those smug grins instantly. Whispers followed Marcus into the classroom. "Probably got here on affirmative action," Blake sneered loudly enough for everyone to hear. But when Professor Anderson posed a complex question on quantum mechanics that left the class silent, Marcus confidently raised his hand. Blake's astonishment was priceless when Marcus calmly explained the theory. However, things took a darker turn after class. Blake and his fraternity brothers blocked Marcus's path. "Hey, scholarship boy," Blake sneered. "We've got a tradition at Harrington. Newbies have to earn their place." Marcus felt his muscles tense, instincts from years of training kicking in. He could easily handle them physically, but his mother's words echoed in his mind. "You're there to win, not fight." What Blake and his fraternity brothers didn't know was they had just made their biggest mistake. Marcus quietly pulled out his phone, discreetly hitting record to capture every word of their confrontation. Years of handling bullies taught him the power of evidence. "Listen," Marcus calmly stated, phone still recording, "I'm just here to study, same as you." Blake leaned closer, his polished charm turning menacing. "Same as us? Be realistic. You're not Harrington material." His friends laughed, oblivious to Marcus subtly shifting into a defensive stance. Just then, Emily Tran, editor of the campus newspaper, passed by. Emily had been investigating Harrington's history of discrimination, and Marcus's encounter was the jackpot she'd been hoping for. Pretending not to notice, Emily also recorded everything discreetly. Later, Marcus overheard Blake's group plotting something more sinister, specifically regarding the upcoming physics project presentations. They had plans for the scholarship kid, but Marcus was already several steps ahead. Martial arts hadn't only taught him combat, it taught him strategy, patience, and exploiting an opponent's weaknesses. Marcus boldly called out to Blake in the quiet library, surprising everyone, looking forward to working on that project together. Blake's confusion revealed he wasn't accustomed to targets standing their ground. The next day, Marcus found his locker plastered with papers listing scholarship requirements. Among them was an old photograph of Harrington's class of 1963, starkly lacking diversity. Sarah, a junior working in the archives, quietly approached Marcus, explaining that Blake's fraternity, Alpha Sigma, had a decades-long history of discriminatory traditions. As Blake continued his harassment, Marcus meticulously documented the fraternity's activities. They weren't just bullies. They ran an organized cheating operation, writing papers and taking exams for payment. Marcus collected evidence quietly, letting Blake believe he still held the advantage. One morning, Blake and his crew confronted Marcus at the campus gym, mocking his workout. Blake arrogantly proposed a boxing match, hoping to humiliate Marcus publicly. Unbeknownst to Blake, Marcus had taught advanced martial arts since high school. Marcus gave Blake a final chance to reconsider, but arrogance prevailed. The gym filled rapidly as the fight began, captured live by Miguel, a student Blake had previously bullied. Blake's first punch, well-practiced but predictable, missed entirely. Marcus effortlessly dodged, countered gracefully, and Blake quickly found himself stunned on the floor. Videos of Blake's humiliating defeat went viral. But Marcus knew better than to celebrate prematurely. Privileged bullies, embarrassed and cornered, could become dangerous. Fate stepped in when Professor Anderson assigned project partners. Marcus was paired with Blake. The project accounted for 40% of their grade, making cooperation unavoidable. Blake threatened Marcus privately, attempting intimidation. Marcus calmly revealed the evidence he had compiled: emails, screenshots, and recordings exposing Alpha Sigma's cheating network. Blake panicked, grabbing at Marcus's laptop, unaware that campus security cameras recorded every move. Amy, a quiet lab assistant, affirmed she'd captured everything on surveillance. In retaliation, Blake launched a smear campaign online, falsely accusing Marcus of academic fraud. Marcus calmly confronted Blake, exposing Alpha Sigma's cheating activities to Professor Anderson, while Emily provided further evidence and testimonials from cheated students. Miguel contributed his own recordings, further exposing Blake and his fraternity. Blake's fraternity brothers quickly distanced themselves, erasing messages and denying involvement as news spread campus-wide. Alone and desperate, Blake confronted Marcus angrily, but security cameras again captured Blake's aggression, undermining his credibility further. When Blake bitterly mentioned his family's legacy at Harrington, Sarah revealed damaging information about the fraternity's funding sources. Marcus, however, chose not to destroy Blake completely, offering him a chance to start fresh and genuinely improve. The campus atmosphere gradually shifted. Alpha Sigma faced suspension, and students formerly isolated began connecting. Miguel confidently participated in class. Sarah spearheaded efforts for increased inclusivity. Surprisingly, Blake attended study groups, doing honest work for the first time. Professor Anderson privately commended Marcus's thoughtful approach, reinforcing that true strength involved knowing when to refrain from physical confrontation. A freshman later approached Marcus, seeking confirmation of how he'd changed campus dynamics. Marcus humbly credited collective effort rather than individual heroism. Marcus's journey highlighted not just karma or justice, but intelligent, strategic resistance to bullying. Courage, patience, and strategic thinking were his true weapons, empowering an entire campus to rise against entrenched prejudices. Ultimately, Marcus taught Harrington University a valuable lesson. Meaningful change begins with one courageous step, one smart decision at a time.